Many women and men care about the way that they look and how they appear from other people. They're always chasing a new trend and willing to show off what they have next. Many of these trends start on social media or word of mouth back in the day, or on television. Trends in fashion are always evolving by social media and word of mouth. Many trends end up circling back to nowadays, and it's a constant recircle cycle. Fashion really expresses personality and how that generation might have looked, or gave that impression onto the whole society as a whole. So it expresses more than just what you wear, it expresses who you are sometimes. Each decade does have their unique personality, way of expressing their trends, whether it be from like power flower to sophisticated. Once it was popular, it can always reappear up just based on a simple nowadays social media. First off, in 1970s, quoted Cher did once wear, which was an icon, in sequins and always had bell bottoms on, whereas David Bowie was an accessorizer. Bowie had hippie style with fringe, whereas Cher usually was black sequins with platforms. So this really expressed what the 1970s were, very flaring platform shoes, and which actually rose to nowadays is we wear platform shoes, and there was a point where we had extra flare pants, and certain tops do have cute flare tops on top of them. So we pick and choose a lot of past trends and redesign them to nowadays. In the 1980s, you normally tend to hear mullets, grungy, and all that stuff like that. Maybe neon, leg warmers, and warm-up, which is pretty explanatory. The 1980s trend is leather jackets, mini skirts, and mullets, which resurfaces nowadays to many men having mullets and redoing that perm to make their big extra hair, to just having men have more hygiene than what they used to deem as not having hygiene. This is showing some of the trends, more bustier tops as well. Crop tops, I think girls being more frisky, more sexuality was more elaborated in the 80s. 1990s were actually a huge turning point for the fashion industry. There was a lot of major designers that huge, such as more like sophisticated. Many women wanted to be known as smart. This is where a lot of women would be deemed as a ditz, but they actually are starting to have a business, and they actually starting to be known as their name. And they want to show that they have dignity and respect from other people. The designers hit their trends right on this dot by turning people's head with the chic and grunge, as quoted. This includes simple yet elegant pieces that aided risk in fashion, which is crop tops, combat boots, different type of polos, low-rise jeans, sweatsuits, juicy bedazzled. There's a lot of things that we actually do nowadays. They incorporate a lot of the 1990s fashion with the low-rise jeans. Finally, with the 2000s to now, this is the last comparison. I just thought it was actually neat to see this comparison side by side of old 2000s to now 2000s. We still use the satin dresses, that's very elegant, that women like to use. The corsets was recently a huge hit for us, as trends. A lot of in the back in the early 2000s they would wear corsets, and now they reiterated that, and the Urban Outfitters had that big launch where a lot of teenage girls had those corset tops, and now with the cargo pants, they're very in style now as well. There's structured vests too as well to show more of a classy but chic look that we used from past trends but made it 2000s edition. So next time you think about throwing away your teenage clothes or your clothes from a year ago or 2 years ago, think about in the future when you have your kids or your grandchildren, that they might be reusing those clothes and they might be wanting to see your style back then. It really shows them what that generation was like back then, not only in clothes but also just seeing your older family members in those and the old trends really is fascinating. I'm grateful for everyone's attention, and I'm thankful that I could share with everyone the trends over the years in fashion. Thank you.